this year I decided to gift my mother something a little bit different than usual for Mother's Day. I mean, not really that unusual, me being an artist and such, but a little bit more unusual in terms of it not being a ready-made gift. I could probably go with a last-minute, nice Mother's Day package, I guess, but I told myself that maybe it's worth it to try something new and do something I haven't really tried before and pleasantly surprise her, hopefully. So I decided to paint something I never really paint, both because I don't really care about it that much and because I find it very difficult to actually deliver. And the subject is flowers, as you might be able to see, and roses, specifically. So, I said, yeah, let's challenge ourselves a little bit, shouldn't we? And make something that, I've never done before. I didn't know how it will go, and obviously I was a little bit frustrated, a little bit discouraged, and a lot of afraid. But, I said to myself that if it fails, it fails. Either I can start again, or, if everything else fails, I could probably buy something from a nearby store and get it to her. But I really wanted to make something that would hang on her wall and remind her of me and what I do best in life, which is paint. Obviously, I haven't painted anything like that before in my life, so I relied on good old YouTube to get me through the difficult part of it, which was, how do I even start painting a rose? And as we all know, roses are very, very difficult to paint, or at least they look like it, almost like human fingers. Very complex, changing light, depending on the angles, depending on where they are sitting in relation to the light, and all this good stuff, along with the transparency of the petals and the soft hues. It just made everything look very chaotic, and to the mind of a beginner floral painter, it looks like a lot of effort, a lot of work, and, I didn't know where to start from. So I relied on the goodwill of other fabulous artists on YouTube for guidance and some more experience, and I actually watched a few videos before proceeding with painting my own flowers, which helped me a lot, because each one of them started with the same kind of principle, which is to oversimplify everything before you get into details. And I'm so very thankful that people are still giving good advice for free on YouTube, because, you can buy knowledge and you can probably buy your way into getting all the good tips and tricks. It's simple things like that that enable people to get some brush on their hands and start painting. It doesn't always work with the first try. It usually doesn't. But at least the thought that you know how to proceed and you know that this is not quantum physics is enough to get you to get in the mood for painting something that you've never painted before. I used a very limited palette, nothing fancy as far as colors is concerned. I wanted to keep it very simple, and I wanted for the roses to pop. I wanted them to be the center of attention, and therefore I kept everything else extremely dark and very, very simple, because I didn't want them to take away from the beauty of the flowers. After all, the flowers are the focal point of the painting, so it being an alla prima one, I don't think that it needs more distraction in the background. At this point, I started thinking that I've made a huge mistake, because I felt like I reached my limit as far as good shapes is concerned, and therefore I thought that, this is it. This is where I finally mess up, and I'll probably have to start from the beginning. Oh, that's too bad. But this is the point where I actually think about things like that all the time. I find that in every painting that I make, be it alla prima or one that I use layering techniques, I get to think nasty stuff like that at some point. But when you start thinking about things like that, it's the point where you actually have to keep trying and keep pushing the painting, because it is after this point that it usually gets a little bit better than before, which gives you the power to persevere and get it done ultimately. I had to ship the painting all the way to the mainland to my sister to get it framed, because I don't know of any trustworthy framer here on the island. So I had to give it to somebody else to do this job. And I think that the way it was framed, it was exactly what I wanted, and it was my vision becoming alive. I feel like the frame complements the picture so much. Adds to the softness of the flowers and the softness of the subject in general. And, I hope you like it as much as I did. And I'm happy that my mom actually did like it, ultimately. And she hanged it on her wall.